worked. So, all right. Let's bring in our friend Zander Krause. Don't forget, also at 4:30, Angelo Cataldi joins us.
What's up, Big Sills?
What's up, brother?
How you doing, brother? I'm doing good, man. Nice day
man,
out.
I liked what you said about the coaches. Before we get into Nick, about the assistant coaches and how they were talking, and especially Clint Hurt, and how those guys were going to, it looks like there's going to be some accountability in there. But today, the players were there, and they were talking to a couple of players, and then Nick got up to the podium. Now, I'm going to read you some of the things and some of the takeaways that we heard here from them. But before I do that, after these OTAs by Friday, what's the biggest question you want answered?
A lot of questions on this team right now. For me, it's regarding Jalen Hurts, because I think the team goes as far as he goes. But I don't know how many answers we're gonna get on that right now, right? But I guess in terms of what we can learn from this type of offseason, the cornerback room is interesting because Bradbury's back. They moved him to safety today, which I don't know
why.
I don't know. Well, I don't know, because even if they wanted to trade him, does that increase his trade value? I don't think so. When you move a 30-year-old dude to safety like that, so I don't know. Maybe they want him to be there because they get that. That's a shoddy position too. The safety, the safety is more shoddy than the cornerbacks right now. But corner's interesting. Apparently, Keely Ringo had a big day, and he's a guy I think that's very slept on. He's a highly talented guy. He was a little young coming into the league, 20 years old when he was drafted. So 21 now. Apparently looks really good at practice today. I think some clarity in the defensive back would be good, and I guess linebacker, right? I mean, those are the two big ones for me. But John's been harping on the offense, on the integration of the offense, on the communication. Doug Nussmeier spoke yesterday. He emphasized that as well. So a lot of questions, though. A lot of questions. I mean, look, everybody gets hopped up on the offseason. I do too. But the reality is the most recent Philadelphia Eagles football we have seen was a 1-7 collapse. The coach couldn't fix it. The quarterback couldn't fix it. Not saying it's on Howie, but he couldn't fix it. Nobody fixed it. A lot of those same guys are back with two veteran leaders out of the locker room. They got a lot of questions to be answered, and I'm looking at every angle of it.
How about this, too? The only reason that Bradbury's here is because they're not sold in what they have yet.
Yeah, I think
or they're not sure what they have yet, because if that guy gets hurt, you owe him $11.2 million. I mean,
yeah, I think that's true, but does that matter
to them?
No, I mean,
dead money to a guy that's not.
Quinyon Mitchell got drafted a month ago.
When you can cut him for 4.3, and I'm going to put him out there, and I'm talking about trading him.
You mean if they go into the season, they're going to pay him $11 million? Is that what you're saying? If they go into the season, they're going to pay him $11 million?
That's his salary. That's his base.
Versus cutting him and taking
right now, getting 4.3 on the books, you get rid of them, and you're giving quality reps to the other.
Well, we have cap room anyway, so does it matter what they pay him?
I think the reps are more important actually than the money.
Yeah, the reps are important. Even the defensive backs coach, by the way, that guy was tremendous. Shoot, I'm blanking on his name. Parker, I can't think of his first name, but our new DBs coach, he was an impressive guy. But he pointed that out. I mean, we only have so many reps in the summer. Everyone's got to matter, which I think is why they probably put James at safety, to be honest, even if they are going to cut him. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not that worried if they're not sold on Quinyon yet. I'm not sold on Quinyon yet. I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to get used to NFL speed, man. He played at Toledo.
I think they're going to cut Bradbury in camp.
Yeah, but why? Why?
Because it doesn't matter if you cut him today or in camp. You'll
Other
know
than
a little
giving
more
the veteran
a
chance to pick where he wants to go. Yeah, I guess you're right about that.
Yeah, but it could be if you're a player like him, you don't want to be cut on Labor Day. You want to be cut before Labor Day so you get a chance to land on a roster. All right. Here was some of my takeaways from Sirianni talking today. Here's a prime example of a guy that should never be in front of a microphone ever as a head coach. He is the worst head coach in Eagle history behind the mic. Somebody asked the question to him, hey, why are you holding a mandatory minicamp? he went into this, well, I want to get the players to show the players that, this is what we're going to be doing during the regular season. We wanted to make it feel like it's a regular practice. We wanted everybody to understand that we're going to be doing it this way here. Instead of just saying, hey, man, I want to get the bad taste out of our mouths. We want to go back to the basics and little things. And quite frankly, we've got to do a better job than what we did in 23. And to me, that resonates with people being honest with somebody going, hey, we sucked out loud at the end. And what we have to do is go back to basics, and we got to go back to the things that made us great in 22. Instead, he gave us this fucking diatribe on something about something that they do standard normally all the time. I mean, Zander, it's nauseating to listen to him because you sit there and you go, he has no credibility.
Yeah, I think he has I think he's over consumed with the approval of everybody else. Like, yeah, you're right. Just say what it is. But maybe I think he might get like nervous up there, Big Sills. Like, I just started doing on-air content. I've been nervous. Sometimes I say shit and I'm like, I probably wouldn't have said that if I was calm and collected. Like, I think Nick, sometimes he catches himself and he's just talking and talking and talking. And I don't think he needs to. I'm with you. Just say the truth. We need to get it back out there, man. We had a bad end to our year.
That's right. That we want to get the bad taste out of our mouth from 23, and I thought this would be something to start it off with.
Yeah,
doesn't that make more sense and come off as more
it
genuine?
Does, but what does it change, Sills? It does. But what
at least
he did
stops
say that? What's the matter?
Stops we know what it does. It at least stops people from thinking status quo. We're going to do the same shit we did a year ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mean nervous showing up. I mean nervous in front of the mic because he's got the PR staff in his ear all the time, and I don't know. I don't care what he says up there, dude. I really don't. I just want him to be a good coach. But you are right. Some of the things you see in the press conference could question his ability to be that good coach.
How about this one? So he was asked the question, and Devontae even said it. And I'm going to combine Devontae's takes and Nick's takes. A guy asked him the question about the new offense and the old offense. And he went like this. I was talking to Kellen. Kellen had these 3 plays, and I really told him I really liked them, and we're going to add those in to to what we're doing. And Devontae was asked the question, hey, well, what do you make of the new offense? He goes, well, it's more about terminology. Football's football. If anybody in Philadelphia or anybody that watches us or anybody that listens to any of those radio stations thinks that this is a new offense, you're out of your mind. This is going to be an additional added to offense. This is not going to be a new offense. Nick said it.
I don't have a problem with that, and I'll tell you exactly why. I think you're right, though. It's going to be the same offense. But Devontae also said another thing that I know you probably heard that stuck out to me. He said, we will be able to move around more this year. More freedom this year, which we weren't allowed to do last year, which is
a shot. Total shot.
A weird thing to say. Like, because remember, Nick claimed it was his offense. So it was almost a shot at Nick, or I guess Brian Johnson.
Yeah, no, it was.
I took it more as a shot at Nick. But the offense that they had before the last 8 games last year wasn't a bad offense. They were on a historic streak of winning. In 22, it took them to the Super Bowl. Now, 23 was a little different because there was no Shane Steichen. But if they can get back to that while adding in some fresh eyes, a guy who's been pass dominant in the NFL, a guy who will add motion, a guy who's going to force Jalen Hurts to look to the middle of the field, even just something like that will make it harder, I think, for defenses. We got really stagnant and we got predictable last year. And that's one of the things. We had a good debate. I'm not sure if you caught all the birds this morning or whatever you caught of it. We had a good talk with Jeff Kerr about Jalen Hurts. And John seems to be worried that they're trying to force Jalen Hurts to not be Jalen Hurts. And I understand what he's saying, but I also see the other side where Doug Nussmeier pointed out 2.3 seconds he wants Hurts to get rid of the ball, that's insane speed, right? Like 2.8 was when Jalen was getting rid of it quick in 22. But Dan, are they doing that now because they want to ram down his throat the other way to play the position instead of ducking and going to the right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put this in your toolbox. even if we don't run this every game, even if you don't do it on every play,
They're force
you
feeding
know
him skill set things he doesn't do well.
And to me, that's going to make him
But
a
you
better
said
quarterback.
it. Why are you doing this with the guy you paid for in 22?
Well, because any quarterback you pay and you're going to want to improve for him, you're going to want him to improve.
But you want him to improve on what he does well, not something you're making up for him.
Things he doesn't do well cause you to have a crippling, predictable offense.
No,
and you need
I
to at
want
least
you work on those things.
Raise the averages.
You work on being. Hey, reading defenses takes a decade to go. Not
it does.
Not 10 days. Brady says that.
I know it's tough.
Brady says it took him 20 years to do this. They're making this guy they're force feeding him into being something he's not. This is my bitch on Hurts, Zander. He's going the other way because they're asking him to go away from what he does the best. That's my problem.
I don't think they're going to this year. I think they want to add the element. Maybe not add it because it was added, I think, already, but they want to make him more proficient in the things he's not doing right now well. And it's going to take time. But they have the guy's here till 2028, whether we love him or not. Yeah, well, he's going to be the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. So maybe there's some front office here. Maybe some I'm okay with that. Remember, this is passing camp. There's no pads out there. There's no even running game. There's no RPOs in May and June. So if we're going to have passing camp, I'm going to force Jalen Hurts to get the ball out quick because it's going to help him down the line to be a better quarterback when the time comes. That doesn't mean I want to take away what he does best, but we can't make it the only thing he does.
Okay. Let me, I'm going to go off script here on what Sirianni said. I want to ask you something. I started thinking about the conversation we had at the end of the program. It was great. I can't believe the amount of volume of yards that Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown get with as limited amount of targets that they get thrown at them. It's so fucking insane that those guys have put those kind of numbers up. When you see CeeDee Lamb at 182, you see Devontae Adams.
The targets for CeeDee Lamb last year were insane.
But my point is, why don't you do something here and play AJ more in the slot and drop him down in there 5 or 6 targets, move him around on mismatches. Get this? If you put him in a position in the Zander, mismatch.
Yeah, their targets are pretty good, honestly, dude. 158
targets. Receivers or what?
I think their targets are fine. What do you mean? AJ Brown had 158 targets last year. Oh, you mean you're talking about putting them in the slot but their overall targets aren't bad. AJ Brown got 158.
No. I'm talking about mismatches. Can you imagine if you got him 5 or 6 targets in the spot where you're
like him out running linebacker? If 50 of those targets were in the slot. Yeah, I think they're going to do more of that this year, and they should. But
he'd have $2,000. You know why? Linebackers versus Patrick Surtain covering you.
AJ's going to get his numbers, so I'm not worried about.
You're missing my point that you're going to have more wide open plays.
Yeah, but you run into the issue of Hurts has struggled to get the ball to the middle of the field. Maybe that will force him to get it there. Maybe that's another thing Kellen can do to force Jalen to go to the middle of the field. Because to me, and I guess it's as simple as the middle of the field is more crowded, but what would make a quarterback be able to throw the ball effectively outside the numbers versus inside? Just because the traffic?
Your feet more, and there's more of a vision. Your vision is clear than across the middle of the field.
Where there's more traffic. Yeah, exactly.
There's more traffic in the middle. But again, you're going against safeties versus corners when you're in the slot.
Yeah, and AJ, the safeties are not going to.
He would annihilate them.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I see what you're saying. I think they're going to do it. That's where I think.
Not a crazy number. Not a crazy.
I know. This is where I think Kellen Moore is going to be good, because I do think he's at least had enough experience with offenses with good players to be like what you just said. Hey, let's put AJ in the slot for a couple plays here. We could really open up the entire offense and have big play opportunity because no safety is going to be able to guard AJ Brown in the slot. So I do think you're right. That's where I think Kellen's going to be great. Now, I hope Jalen can live up to what Kellen might ask him to do in the passing game, but I still don't know if that's the best way the Eagles want to go about this. Like how many throws a game do you think Jalen Hurts should have next year?
28.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I was gonna say
28 to
25 in there.
32.
25 in there. I mean, I don't
25
need.
to 28 to 30, something like that in there, depending on what the situation is.
Yeah, I
But
think
they
that's
got to
pretty
get
good.
back to they got to get back to at least 18, 20 carries a game.
Yeah, that's maybe why they brought in Saquon. It's not about the pass game. It's about taking some of that bell cow back, man.
Well, get this, because they got to pick up some of the yards they lost in the RPO by not running Hurts, so they're going to bring him in.
Right.
Hey, how about McCaffrey getting 19 million?
Tremendous. Worth it. Earned every penny of it. Great player. Really a unique player too. Nobody in the league that can do what he does. He's one of the few guys you can actually say that about. Tremendous talent.
Health too a little bit, but you're right.
Yeah, he's been healthy in San Fran, pretty good.
Yeah, he has.
He had a little bit of banged up, I think, but he's been
a little bit last year, tad bit. Yep.
And they used him right, dude.
The year before, he came to them banged up too a little bit too from Carolina.
Talk about accentuating the guy's skill set, though. I mean, they take that guy and they use him to the max.
They move him
and
all over the field.
I don't look at that as just a running back contract either. I view that as
he's like Deebo Samuel 2.0.
Yeah.
They move him around in all kinds of positions. You can see him out
exactly.
wide.
But I view it as like, look at some of the other guys in the league who are making 19 million. Is Christian McCaffrey worth that to your team? Absolutely, he is. And it's not just like, oh, we paid a running back 19. We paid Christian McCaffrey 19 because he changes the game for us. He changes our offense.
That's why Kamara makes 12.
Exactly.
He does the same kind of shit that he does. That's why Howie actually last year, if you remember right, there was talk that the Eagles were pursuing an opportunity to talk to the Saints to try to get Kamara before the trading deadline.
I would have liked Kamara here.
Yeah, Kamara too. How about when Sirianni says this, that he loves the fact that Howie Roseman really tools the team up, and he loves the depth that Howie has put on the team.
He just loves glazing up Howie every time he talks. He really does.
But here's my problem. Hey, Nick, so you have no say in the players on your own team?
No, I mean, most coaches don't. Honestly, Dan.
You think Kyle Shanahan has no say in who he wants?
Well, Kyle Shanahan's probably a different cat. There's not that many of them, though. They are more the exceptions than the rules. There's
I bet you Matt
Reid.
LaFleur does.
There's Bill Belichick. Yeah.
You think Andy Reid does?
Probably not, dude.
You think Andy Reid does?
Wait. You think Matt LaFleur was like trade Aaron Rodgers a couple years ago?
I
don't think so.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I know Jordan Love's worked out, but I don't know if Matt LaFleur knew that.
You have to have faith in two things with that move. If you're Gutekunst and you're in your mark, you know what you have to have faith in? The coach and the quarterback that they're going to get it right. And Green Bay's done it right 35 years.
Yeah, they have. They sure have. They're spoiled. John says it all the time.
This guy, man, I'll tell you what. If I'm ever going to send a Christmas package over to the NovaCare, I'm going to send a bunch of knee pads over there for old Nicky, man, with Howie's picture on him, because this guy loves glazing over, like you said.
Yeah,
Howie puts this, Howie does all this stuff. I'm like,
he always makes sure to find a little bit of a look, but this is a business. He's got to answer to Howie. He knows that Howie's in there with the owner. Oh God, Sills. There's a business to it, I don't like it. It's not my style. I would prefer he doesn't go up there and brown nose and all that crap, but he's going to do it. And that's Nick Sirianni. I've learned to live with it, but I've said consistently, he's my biggest concern with the team this year. So all of that stuff goes into it. I think he's goofy. I think he's a goofy dude.
He's a goofy dude.
Yeah.
Is a very
good.
If
he can coach the team, though, I don't care how goofy you are. He could be the goofiest guy in the world. Doesn't bother me. But
okay, I'm going to go off now and talk. Not go off. I'm going to go to some of the things that I said that I'd want to see by Friday. How long do you think they go with Alishan Dean? We're not going to kill Dean. I'm not trying to kill him here. How long do you think is he the starter September 6th in Green Bay against Green Bay?
I think they want to be. I think they want him to be, but I don't think he's shown it to them. I'm not sure they believe in him. I really don't. I think Howie wants him to be out there because dropped a third round third-round pick on this guy a couple years ago. You know, everybody was talking about the Philadelphia Bulldogs. I mean, for crying out loud, you know. So I don't think it's going to be long, though, Dan. It's going to be, I would say, 4 to 6 games if he starts.
4 to 6 games.
6 games. Dude, if he's a dud in the middle of the field, at middle linebacker, and you have Devin White standing right there, even if Devin White's not.
Wouldn't you rather know in exhibition football if he's the guy? Play his ass.
I don't know if they're going to start him. I really don't. I'm saying my 6 games was if they default to Nakobe Dean as the starter. You know, and he might prove it. Maybe he plays well. Maybe he's not 6 games. But if he sucks balls for 6 games, I mean, I'm thinking they're going to put him on the bench.
Bench? I'd fire him. How about this one? How long do you think it's going to take for that secondary to get communication skills across from corner to corner, where last year you had 18 weeks and you didn't connect one time in your secondary with that football team last year? If you think about it, what were you, 31st in pass defense? You couldn't get it done for 18 weeks. How long this year do you think this new process and this new philosophy takes to come together?
It's an interesting question because Vic Fangio's entire scheme is very communication heavy, so it matters very much. Now, they ran the Fangio defense last year, so it's not that much different, but there's probably some different terminology. The one thing I think that's better about this year is you know who the leader of the defense is this year. Vic Fangio he's a guy that has earned the respect of most people in football. He's an older guy. He's not going to be told what to do. He's the leader of the defense. Last year, it was that's why they moved on from Desai when we're 10-2. You know, he never had the ear of the locker room. And I think Patricia just sucks. I don't think Patricia should be a coordinator. So the whole thing fell apart last year.
He was exceptionally. I've never seen a coach, Zander, exposed as a head coach and a coordinator in my life. Usually the head coach
under Belichick, Dan.
Dude, he was under Belichick, and you know what that means to me now? He was just on the coaching roster.
Yeah,
he was not good, man.
I remember when he was the next greatest thing since sliced bread before he got that Lions coaching job.
And all that shit. Yeah. He was going to make nuclear bombs in Detroit.
Yeah. So he sucked. Desai sucked. At least Fangio won't suck, but maybe that's why they're trying to keep Bradbury, Sills.
It is.
You know, you got a lot of young guys in that secondary. You know, and if they're going to need to know how to communicate, if they're going to need to know terminology and all that stuff, it's not a bad move to have a guy like Bradbury out there in some capacity to be able to help these dudes. You know, Yo Quignon, get the hell over there. You know, stuff like that out on the field.
Do you think Jalen, these next 3 days, is it a thing? Does he have to look better than Kenny Flickett? So he can suck the last 3 months of the season, all of the OTAs, and even the mandatory minicamp, and you're cool with that?
Dan, he could look.
All right, Boydie, you have amnesia.
He could look like Josh Rosen out there.
Wow. Man, I'd like my quarterback to look functional.
I want him to. I'm just that's not what you asked me. You asked me, is there going to be any conversation? No.
I'm not saying you start him, but surely you want him to outplay him.
Oh, you do. I don't know if he's going to. I think he will. But
you think he'll outplay Kenny Flickett?
Doesn't matter though. It's May and June.
Yeah, you know why it matters? You want to bring some stability and also some confidence to your group and your coaches. Dude, I can't believe how you, an Eagle fucking maniac, is sitting there going, 23 didn't happen. Don't worry about it. It's like you've erased it from the tablets of Egypt.
No, I have not. I've been consistent. Jalen Hurts is my biggest concern this year. He's got more questions to answer than anybody on the football team. Maybe you could put Nick Sirianni in front of him, but they're right there. But Dan, when you're making $55 million, when your cap hits $100 million of dead cap space, I don't care
then
what
act like
you do. You're not going to the bench. Never.
No. By the way, he should have been benched a couple games last year.
No, he shouldn't have.
Oh, no, really? So you thought he played great in that Giant game at the end of the year, right?
I didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth. I said he shouldn't have been benched.
He should have been benched for the Giant game. He stunk.
You think Marcus Mariota would have given the Philadelphia Eagles a better shot to win?
No, it wouldn't have mattered.
Why would you put your
why do I want to put a $50 million guy in a chance
quarterback?
Why do I put a $50 million guy in to have a chance to get hurt when he sucks right now? No. Take him out.
I don't agree.
Hey, wait a minute. I gotta read you a list here. Hey, by the way, you went to Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Boy, that education ain't very good when it comes to adding and subtracting, dog. I'll tell you that, man. Here's the wide receiver's new list of money now here. Justin Jefferson, $35 million, $110 guaranteed. AJ, $85 million, $32 million. Hey, I don't see AJ
crying about Devontae Smith, dude.
Hey, I don't see AJ taking.
I was like,
I don't see AJ taking pay cuts. St. Brown 30, Hill 30, Waddle 28.5, same draft, and 65.7. Adams 28, and this is what that kid said today. Hey, counting other people's money, this and that, and I'm like, so it was you, dummy, that told your agent? I knew Clutch didn't do that, dude. What a dumbass move.
Dude, are you still – this is now 2 days running that you're crying to me about what Devontae Smith signed for.
He is so dumb, man. Because he got taken advantage of.
Maybe – did he? He's still making $19 million.
He's eating cat food compared to surf and turf with A.J. Brown.
He is not eating cat food. Come on, man. Come on, man. I agree. I mean, the contract sucks. I agree, but I don't care. I'm an Eagle fan. Like you said to the people, why do you care? You're an Eagle fan. You should be happy. I am happy. All right, now we get to add more players. From Devontae's perspective, yeah, dumb deal.
Okay, how about this new role here that Nick and the organization have carved out for him? He's kind of like the overseer of overseers with like no power and like binoculars and a microscope and not really. And I mean, so he's like a CEO kind of role, like whatever. I'm not sure what it is. How do you think he rolls into this new CEO role?
Who, Nick?
Yeah, Nick.
I think he's been the CEO coach. He wasn't calling offense last year.
Oh, no. It's not what. No, he said this. That's my offense.
Yeah, but he wasn't calling the plays.
And it's Brian play calling.
I'm not a fan of the CEO head coach. A lot of people love it. John McMullen would prefer it if he started his team. He always says that I would take a CEO coach. I'm like, I wouldn't. I would rather have a Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid, those guys. But that's not what we got, man. That's not what we have. And
when you're a CEO coach, you
got to be good at it. You have to
be
good at the stuff that's a CEO, and he's not good at that, which is the scary part.
Here, when you're a CEO like John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin, you have complete control over the coaches that you hire, and you have say in the guys you want. Okay, you don't just go, Howie is this guy brings in somebody. Hey, there's coaches on his coaching staff. Isn't there one position coach that like Howie did it or Nick did it? No. How did he know Clint Hurt? He never worked with him. That's not a Nick hire.
That's a Fangio hire.
Oh, so wait. Whoa.
Fangio had experience with Clint Hurt.
So Nick had no say in that hiring of Clint Hurt.
Wait a second, though.
It's okay.
Clint Hurt is the defensive line coach for the
Correct.
Eagles. Would you want Nick Sirianni picking the D line coach?
No. Here's how Sean McVay got his hires on defense. He hired Raheem Morris and said, Raheem, hire your staff. You get to hire your staff. As long as they interview with me, I want to know if they fit in my culture. We'll do that. Wade Phillips, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what this guy did? Hey, make sure you go upstairs and tell my bosses before you bring a guy in who you're bringing in because they may want to know.
That's not true. You're speculating.
Oh, my God. Wait a minute. So, wait, you think they ran that Clint Hurt hire by Nick?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm not saying he had to approve it, but he was
that
certainly
job.
involved in the
I'll
discussion.
tell you flat out, Cliff Kingsbury didn't take the OC job in Philly because he
OC is a
given
different
that.
offense is a different side than defense. Nick is an
That's not
offensive
a
guy.
CEO coach then if he's not in charge of both sides.
He's still in charge of the defense, but why would he pick the D-line coach over Vic Fangio?
So, because I just said CEO coach.
But
It
even if you're the
doesn't mean
CEO coach, why
No.
would he pick?
You're
Tell me
not
why.
a CEO
Tell me
coach.
why you
Dude.
would prefer Nick Sirianni to hire.
CEO means you run the entire company, not a part of it.
Yeah, but if I'm a CEO and I have a marketing director, I'm not going to tell the marketing director who to have make the ads. I'm not, because that's the marketing director's job.
Because I hired him. He didn't hire Vic.
All right, but it's still foolish to expect Nick to hire the D-line coach.
It's still foolish to think Nick's actually going to be a CEO coach.
Well, what is Nick then?
A doorman.
He's something. They're paying him for something. He's the head coach still of the football team. Regardless of what Dan Sileo speculates he does behind closed doors.
For Angie at fourth.
Tell Angelo, I said he's
what do you think
nuts.
his job
5.5 games is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard in my life.
What's that?
5 wins from Angelo. Wait, this is a guy that likes Jalen Hurts too, a lot more than you. He told you that on this show, how much he liked Jalen Hurts. He thinks Jalen Hurts is going to lead that offensive staff, that offensive team, all those skill position players, that offensive line, Saquon Barkley to 5 wins. Come on, man.
It didn't matter last year.
That's a crock of shit.
It didn't matter last year when you blew up.
We had 11 wins last year, Dan.
Hey, so wait a minute. You really think you're more the 10-1 team or the 1-7 team last year?
You are what your record says you are.
Hold on. No, I asked you a question.
Wait, who said that?
I asked you a question.
Who said that?
Were you closer to being of the 1-7 team or the 10-2 team?
We were what we were last year. We were great and we were trash.
And you played one more week than the Jets did.
It is what it is. The end of the season wasn't pretty. We still won 11 ball games, though.
Hey, so after all this, with the OTAs, do you believe that and get this, and when asked this question, hey, Nick, is there going to be more of an emphasis on preparing the team in exhibition football? He goes, no, we're not there yet.
Well, he's not.
So status quo.
You want me to think about August right now? I'm not thinking about August right now.
Well, you're 2 months out, actually, 63 days from your first exhibition game.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
I got a lot of things to go before I get to that point.
Like what? Dude, you're here. We're here. This is June. Next month is camp.
Yeah, I think he's just taking the approach. I mean, he's doing what you said. He didn't want to give you a big, long answer. Fucking take the answer, Sills. Jesus criminy, dude. He gave you the short answer, so you're destroying him for his long answers. And now he gives you a little short shit, and you're like killing him for that too. Come on, man.
Oh, I don't know, man. So one last one here.
All right.
Jalen Carter replaces Fletcher Cox, yes or no?
He has to. But
no. Does he replace him this year?
I'm going to say yes. I got to be honest. I truly feel this. I really believe Jalen Carter is going to be a beast in the NFL. Even when you listen to him, because some guys that are that talented, they don't like even Fletcher, right? Like I love Fletcher. He lived up. Yep. He was everything we wanted him to be and more. But even him, like he was great at football. I don't know if he loved. Now he liked it, but like Jalen Carter seems like he eats, sleeps, breathes football. Fletcher Cox was hunting, and I'm not knocking Fletcher. I'm just saying Jalen Carter has the type of mentality coupled with the skill set he has. He has what it takes to be.
I think he has more
of an all-time defensive tackle.
Am I saying it right for you here? And I agree. I think he has more upside and ability at the top end of what he can look like than what Fletcher did.
I do too. Yep, I agree with that. Now,
Fletcher will he live up to it? It's another thing.
And Fletcher the other thing Fletcher did is he played at a high level for a lot of years. I thought he got a lot of unwarranted criticism in the last couple of years. A lot of people were on his back saying, Fletcher fell off, just retire. Like Fletcher played pretty good football last year, and he played 700 snaps. He was our
6.5
leader on that
sacks.
defense last year. Yeah.
I mean, you could make an argument he should have been on the Pro Bowl list.
I know. I thought he was awesome last year. And I mean, that's what, 12 years he did that, So
Pretty
that's
crazy.
a long time. So we'll see. But
how about
big
this
shoes to
one?
fill, for sure.
I'm not going to go crazy here with this one because I'm going to phrase it differently. Does Cam Jurgens replace Kelsey to this level where it won't be a massive notice? Wait a second, Sills. Mark Holmes getting a double moonwalk right now. Mark Holmes, that may not be him because Mark told me he has a check by his name.
Yeah, but we can't see the check on this side. We can only see it on YouTube.
Okay,
so we don't know.
Well, we'll find out what that dude is tomorrow if he's not afraid. So look,
apparently he's been chirping me. He's been chirping you over on his channel. We're gonna have to set Mark straight.
Is the drop off going to be significantly noticed? I don't think so.
I don't either, and I'll tell you why I don't think it. Ready? Do you trust or do you trust Jeff Stoutland when he speaks?
Yes.
Did you hear what Jeff had to say about him yesterday?
Did you hear what he said about Steen too? He compared him to Brandon Brooks. I was like,
he didn't
what?
compare him to Brandon Brooks. He said he has some physical traits like Brandon Brooks.
Well, that's Zander. Okay, I'm not being isolated on it here technically, but he said he was making comparisons to Brandon Brooks.
Well, so are you saying that's BS or that it makes you feel better about Steen?
I think that's
he
won't do it. That's coming from a guy who would never do that unless he felt that.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing that he said about Steen, or not about Steen, about Jurgens was, I was worried about him at guard. I'm not so worried about him at center, which kind of tells you all you need to know about. Now, I think we've talked about this, but the thing that I want to see is all the non-physical stuff, like calling out blitzes, man in the line. Like Jason did a lot of stuff on that line.
Cerebral stuff of the game.
Right, exactly. The cerebral stuff. And I think Cam's going to do it. You know what else is underrated too about him moving over to center? He got to play next to Jason last year. Like he got to listen to him, hear him, watch him, not from the sideline.
I got it.
6 inches from his face. That helps him. I think that's going to be a big help. I'm hopeful that we have another. I don't want to say Hall of Fame, but I want to say another good center to have for years to come. The biggest question with him is going to be the injuries because he's played 2 years. He's had some injuries already.
And how much has he retained also from Kelsey on the cerebral side of it?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to say something here about the Reddick. So Reddick's not at OTAs, and next week is mandatory. I did look it up, Zander. You're right. Jets mandatories next week.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, okay, but here, maybe he would have held out. Maybe he would have held out here.
Is this one where the Eagles lost the battle to win the war?
If he holds out and doesn't show up to the mandatory minicamp and he holds out a training camp, the Eagles are right to get rid of him.
Yeah, I still don't know. Ready? Because I'll tell you why.
Or would you have just given him the extra 5?
Well, that's where I'm going to go. That's where I'm going. Because what would it have taken to get Hassan to play? Was
5
it
more million?
5 more million, even 7 more million? Like, I feel comfortable giving him 22. I don't have a problem with that. 22 for a guy that's been my highest sack guy for 2 years running, really anchored the pass rush on the defense for 2 straight years. Great contributions to a team that went to the Super Bowl. I would have no problem giving him 22 because what'd you give Bryce Huff? 17.5?
18.4.
18. So, like, you're $3 million above Hassan at that point. I would give him whatever he wanted and just have extended him. But, Howie is playing a longer-term game and Hassan's older. So maybe that factored into the decision. I would have kept Hassan. I'm not sure why they moved on from him. I'm pissed off at the way Howie Roseman treated the reporters who asked him about that. Thought that was utter BS. I really didn't like that. I'd like to even say something to Bob Lang about that. Like, yo, dude, you guys are going to move on from our best defensive player, and we're not even allowed to. Why am I a reporter if I'm not even allowed to ask the questions that matter? That's one of the biggest moves of the offseason. I want an answer. He can give me a crock of crap if he wants, but at least let me ask the question.
Absolutely.
And I thought that was BS, but.
All right. Cat food versus steak and lobster at the Palm.
So you got to get a new tilt on today's show, dude. I'm pulling your wife on you and telling you topic sucks.
Hey, Devontae taking he was asked the question today. Somebody asked him the question about his pay at the presser today. And he goes, can't be counting other man's money for him. Oh, my God. You told your agent that you would take $4 instead of $500? What an idiot. All right, man. Hey, it'll be.
He didn't mess up in the numbers. You know where
What?
Devontae messed up? It wasn't the numbers.
Guaranteed.
Nope. It was adding in that fifth-year option.
The fifth-year
option. Now he's tied to the team for a lot longer, and that brought the averages down. Because remember, the initial deal
out of the market
was a 3-year, $75 million deal. That's $25 million. All right, I can live with that. But it really doesn't come out to that.
Hey, watch this though, Howie.
Yeah, good for Howie.
Hey,
we did talk about that, Cosmo. Is it 24 million? I thought it was 19 million.
It was 19 million. It's 19 a year. Yeah,
I
didn't see 24.
Added 24.
Maybe with incentives and shit, but yeah. I didn't. I
think JM has a good point too. He's been talking about Devontae a lot in the chat. We appreciate you being here, JM. He just says, he's a principled guy, which I do think that's true. Now,
hey, JM, he knows how to handle his money more than Shiloh Sanders. I'll tell you that. Shiloh Sanders is a junior.
My point is, I think I'm happy Devontae's here. I don't give a crap about the contract. I really don't. I mean, it's great we have him here. He's a true professional. You're not going to flip on him too, are you? You're not going to say, "Oh, he's a great professional. I love him. He's better than AJ Brown." Blah blah blah. Now he signs for $19 million. He's become the Big Sills villain.
No,
put him on the Big Sills milk cart.
No. He's a really good team player. I really, it's a good guy, man.
Went to Alabama, man. Give him a break. We're dumb down there.
Yeah, you know what? We're dumb and we win.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take dumb and win over smart and lose all day long.
Hey, Zander, where are we in the likes right now? We got Angelo Cataldi coming up at the bottom of the hour here.
Yeah.
Where are we? We're trying to get to 200 likes.
I'm excited to hear from Angelo, and I'm because he is a tremendous at this. Obviously, I know I chirped him for the 5 wins, but he's one of the best.
Are you kidding, man? He knows that.
Yeah, he's one of the best talk show hosts this city's ever had. So, 119 likes we're at, Big.
Okay, guys, we're almost halfway through it here, a little bit here. So if we can, let's do this. Trying to get to 200 likes by the end of the program. Angelo Cataldi. Hey, Zander, you have improved. And you know what? No shade on Jody. None. No shade on him. But keep it up, kid. I mean, I got to tell you, I didn't put you on every day for a reason because I thought you were going to suck.
No, you're pulling a Nick Sirianni. You're buttering me up.
No, I know. I was like this. I go, we're going to put this guy through a little bit of OTAs here and find out what he's all about. But you have been a star.
You're pulling a Nick on me, Dan.
Hey. You're getting nope. I am not.
You're pulling a big Nick on me.
You think I'm feeding you bullshit? I'm not. You know I'm not.
It's a big Nick.
Bob Lang, get on his ass.
It's a big Nick.
Great stuff, brother. We'll see you tomorrow. We appreciate it. Folks, hit the like button. Angelo Cataldi around the corner. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.